Welcome back to another class on Evean Hazaer Halacha series. We are in Siman Aleph in Halacha Yud. Before we do continue, it was brought to my attention that yesterday I said in the previous class that it was part 8. That was a mistake. I mentioned over there that the Bash is part 6, the Tur Zahav is part 7, and yesterday's class was part 8. That is a mistake. I will take that back. The Bash was part 5, the Tur Zahav was part 6, and yesterday's class was part 7. Today's class is going to be part 8. Why is it so important to know which parts, when we are doing it accordingly, why do we have to know which parts? Because sometimes I don't want to go through the whole thing to be able to save the time, so I'll just tell you to listen to part 5 or 6 and then come over there, meaning to what we're doing now, and you'll get a better understanding. So that's all, but otherwise everything is fine. Okay. We saw in Siman Aleph and Halacha Yud that the Ramah brought down over there. He spoke about that if you have a woman that is not divorceable. The first case he gave us that if you have a woman that lost her mind. The second case he gave us that if you had a woman where he says Shuhu min adin ligarsha, that halachically he has to divorce her. But she doesn't want to take the get from him. One can be lenient to allow him to marry another woman. That means he can have 2 wives basically. So we want to see today in Siman Kuf Tedvav in Halacha Daled what is considered to be that halachically is able to divorce him. Because you guys have to recall when we did the Bash yesterday, when we did the Bash in Od Chav Gimel, over there he said, when he brought down the language, because we're going to see that there is a machloked between the way the Bash wants to explain this and between the way the Pitchei Teshuvah wants to bring another opinion that wants to learn the Ramah completely different. So we went there. That's why you see it's very important to know what the Bash said. Alright, so in yesterday's class we did this Bash for part 1 of the Shur for part 8. So that was the Bash we did yesterday. And over there, if you go back to listen to it, you'll see over there that we were referring back to Kuf Tetvav. What is considered to mean when a guy is allowed to divorce his wife halachically? And that's what we want to try to see today. The Shulchan Aruch in Evean Hazaer Siman Kuf Tetvav Halacha Daled begins. Ezo hi dat Yehudit. What's considered to be the way of the religious woman, that they have to behave according to the Jewish law for women. That's called Dat Yehudit. Alright, just basically it's Jewish law for Jewish women. So he says, Hu minhag hatzniut shenahagu benot Israel. It is a custom of being modest that our daughters of Israel, they have been behaving in a modest way. And these are the things that if she went out and she did one of them, Avra al Da'at Yehudi, she transgressed on the law for women according to Jewish law. Which are they? Again, so what's going to happen? I'm going to read through every single one of them. Now remember, Rabotai, I'm only doing with you the Shulchan Aruch. There's also, right, interpretations, right? You have the Cham, the Bash, the Tur Zahav, the Birograh, Berheitav, Pitchei Teshuvah. I'm just doing with you the Shulchan Aruch, okay? Try not to make any final conclusions, but I want to just show you what does it mean that halachically he's able to go ahead and he's able to divorce his wife. We're speaking about, again, according to the Ashkenazim, according to the Sephardim, we don't have this problem. If a guy is halachically able to divorce his wife, he divorces her. But over there, the Bash wants to say that halachically he's able to divorce her. It's just she doesn't want to take the get from him. Fine. If she doesn't want to take the get from him, good, go get married to another woman, and you don't have the Rechem of Rabbeinu Gershom on you. Fine. So what are those things that if a woman is going to do them, it's considered that she's transgressing the law of Jewish women. Yutza'at l'shuk, if she went out to the marketplace, meaning to the streets, or l'mavoy mifulash, or if she went to a alleyway which is open from both sides. We explained this in yesterday's class. Or if you have a chatzah where you have a lot of people are passing through it. Again, we explained this also. How did the chatzar work? This is why, Rabotai, I labeled them part by part, so when I can refer you back, I'll tell you, go look at this part and this part and this part. So this was yesterday's part. So he says to me like this: if you have a woman that went out to the marketplace or to an alleyway which is open from both sides, or if you have a chatzar where there's a lot of people passing through it, and her hair is uncovered. Listen to the language. What does it mean her hair is uncovered? Ve'en alecha ridid kichol anashim. She does not have a shawl on her hair like all the other women, even though her hair is covered with a scarf. Rabotai, I'm not talking about that she's open. No. She has a scarf on her head, but she doesn't have a underneath covering. I would say it like a shawl, like, today, how would they do it? A lot of times, I don't know if you've ever seen it, one of the things, I don't know if your wives, you listen, I don't know if you pay attention or not, but one of the things when women, when they try to put on their wig, that's a whole different discussion, but Halacha, you see clearly, according to Shulchan Aruch, you can't wear a wig because he says, he uses the language of mitpachat, a scarf. A lot of times they want to try to go ahead and they want to try to bring their hair together. They want to keep their hair at one place, so they have this like a netting. They have like a net, and they're going to put it like more like a bathing cap, something like that. He says like a shawl to be underneath it, and then she should have a mitpachat on top. So that's what he's considering over here to be parua. That if a woman didn't have this underneath head covering before the scarf, that's considered to be that her hair is uncovered. And if she goes out to the street like that, this is called that she's transgressing the law of Jewish women. This is called Avra al Dat Yehudit. Continues the Shulchan Aruch and it says, listen to this, guys, you have to understand, this is so important because sometimes, unfortunately, not that women do it intentionally, but they don't know this halachot. And they think, but the way they dress and they show their skin, that it's not a problem. It is a problem. They are transgressing the laws for Jewish women here. Listen to what he says. Or if she was spinning in the marketplace, and she had a red string or something similar to the red string on her face by her forehead, or on her cheek. Now you have to understand what's going on over here, because you have to remember, if I'm gonna have right now something red, let's say like this, Rabotai. Let's put it like this. If I have something like this, let's just like this. If I have something red, automatically it's going to catch your attention. A woman, when they dress immodest, right? It's bad enough that they're dressing immodest, but then they put jewelry. They make it, come out. You don't want to make it harabotai. All these things are asur. If this husband wants to divorce her, he has every right to divorce her. Like we'll see, without a kitub, he doesn't have to give her $1. And it's a mitzvah to divorce such a woman. Rabotai, this is nuts. Why am I telling you this? Because red color or any other color which is attractive, it catches the eyes. So a woman, what she would do, she would put the string on her hair, on her head, when she was weaving it like this, right? Because remember, there's a difference between, spinning. There's a difference between spinning, weaving, and stitching. So while she was spinning, she was doing it right. She would put it in front of her face, by her forehead, or by her cheeks. Why? So when she spin like this, imagine if I'm doing this like this. What happens? Automatically, men look at the color red. Men are attracted. Color red basically stands out. So automatically, when they look, who are they going to see? The woman. They're going to see the woman's face. So in a way, she wants them to look at her beauty. So that's not allowed, Rabotai. That's being immodest. So he says over here, or if she was spinning in the marketplace and she had a red type of string or anything similar to that against her face, on her forehead, or on her cheek, the way that non-Jewish immodest women do it, listen to this, or if she was spinning in the street, in the marketplace, she would show her arms, to the people, and she's accustomed to that. she was accustomed in that kind of way that she would open her. But I want to explain to you. In all of these situations, we're going to tell the husband you're allowed to get rid of her. It's a mitzvah and you have to give her $1. You have to remember when a person is weaving, let's say for example, right, and she opens her arms like this. Remember, woman's skin is not men's skin. Women have something that men will never have. A woman, her skin is more gentle. It's more attractive. Even looking over here, it catches a guy's attention. That's why we're attracted to women. That's why you get married and have children. Anyway, let's say she picked up her arms, right? She picks up her sleeves. She's not doing nothing wrong. She's weaving, but she wanted to make it comfortable, so she picks up her sleeve. Rabotai, the Shulchan Aruch tells you over here, such a woman, this is considered to be that she's going against the halacha of a Jewish woman. The husband has every right to divorce her, and not only to divorce her, he doesn't even have to give her the divorce bill. He doesn't have to give her the ketubah. Rabotai, I want to just share with you something very important. In the Torah, if you look into the Torah, what's pshat? Why do you have to tell me that she's weaving? And if she just walked out with short sleeves, what, that's allowed? So in the Torah, it brings down over there. I forgot which one of them said it. Should have highlighted. He says, "Wait, what's teaching you chiddush?" Oh man, maybe the Beit Chadash. He says, do you know why? Because you would have thought maybe at that time when a woman is working and she wants to make it comfortable for herself, she's allowed to show her flesh to men. The hands, I'm not talking about nothing else. That's what the Shulchan Aruch tells you. Even if she's weaving, she's not doing nothing. All she's doing is weaving. That's part of her job. And I can't even pick up my hand because the shirt's pulling me back. But Rabotai, it's hard. Still the Shulchan Aruch wants to tell the Chiddush. Weaving was part of her job. She still has to be completely closed. But over there he brings down, but what happens if this woman is not weaving? She's open, she dresses in a very modest way. He says over there, Pashut shetzarich ligar. It's simple that the husband is allowed to divorce her without any question. A woman who's immodest. Because every time she's immodest, every time when she's immodest, every second of time, she is transgressing the law of the Jewish woman, of Avra al Dat Yehudit. That's why women need to understand. To walk in the streets trying to catch a guy's attention is a very big no-no. Because of that alone, the husband's allowed to divorce them. Because of that alone, she's going to lose her ketubah. Rabotai, we don't understand what I'm saying. But we think a woman comes to the party or whatever she goes and she wants to walk outside and she wears a t-shirt or she wears a tank top or she wears something that's completely open or her back is open and she's wearing a mini skirt or even she's wearing a long skirt but she has a slit coming down. All of these things, or if a woman is very how do you say that, when she's very provocative and she dresses in such a way where the second she passes by, you know that there was a woman like you turn around like, wow, why, from her smell, from her look, from the color clothing that she's wearing. All these things are a problem. She's not allowed to go ahead and try to catch the attention of other guys. This is not allowed according to Halacha. If the husband sees her do this, Rabotai, that's going against Halacha for Jewish women. He's allowed to divorce her without giving her $1. Continues the Shulchan Aruch and he says, or another thing if she was doing, or shayta misacheket im bachurim, or if she was having a good time, she was flirting with young men. Very big no-no, Rabotai. Women are not allowed to flirt with men. Women are not allowed to sit and do l'chaim. Women with other men. Women are not allowed, Rabotai, to build a conversation with other men. No. Rabotai, I want to tell you like this. If we sit down and just start writing all the facts to why we don't allow men and women to sit together in the party, Rabotai, there's going to be no end. I didn't begin anything. I'm not speaking about even sitting over here. But when you combine everything together, you see why it's not allowed. There's Isurim Doraita that's done when you sit together. Not the sitting is a problem. What comes out from the sitting? Speaking, talking, gazing at another woman, smelling her, having bad thoughts about her. There's a lot of things. Rabbi Meir Shlita wrote, I believe, a 28 or 30 page paper on why one is not allowed to sit with in the mixed party, even if there's no music. 28 or 30 page paper. Over there, he begins with the words that there's a woman that a Rabbanit, she allowed men and women to sit together. So he said, with all due respect, that's why women don't pass in halachot, because women think with emotions, not what the Torah tells them. He said over there, I think he brought the Yerushalmi, he said it's better to burn the Sefer Torah than to give it over to women, because they can change the laws, Rabbotai, because they're very emotional. They think with their heart. A guy has to think with his head. In any event, Rabbotai, let's continue. Let's continue. That's what we see over here, that if you have a woman that she was flirting with other young men, or she was demanding relations, meaning to have relations, with her husband out loud, and to such an extent, until her neighbors heard her, that she's speaking about matters of having relations with her husband. Such a woman, Rabotai, we're going to tell you, husband can divorce her without $1. Or she was cursing Avi Bala, her father-in-law, bifnei Ba'ala, in front of her husband. Such a woman, she's good to go. Out. There are those that say, even if she cursed her father-in-law where the husband was not there, because you would think when the husband is there, at least she should have some shame. And she curses, that means she has no respect for her husband. That's why she has no respect for her father. That's why you're allowed to divorce her. But maybe when the husband is not there, maybe you can't divorce her. No. If the father comes and he says, your wife, Chas v'shalom, right, she went on a rampage, she was cursing me left and right, A to Z. If the husband wants, he has every right to divorce her. There are those that say, we said that, right? There's those that say that even if she curses the father-in-law without the husband's presence, the same halacha is going to apply. If a wife curses her husband in his face, well, I don't know. These women, they got to check themselves. But if she curses her husband in his face, he's allowed to divorce her. Remember, I'm not speaking about that she went and she slept with a married woman or she violated Yom Kippur. No, I'm not speaking about all these things right now. Look what I'm speaking about. B'chol echad me'elu, in all of one of these cases, tetzeh belo ketubah. She's allowed to, you take her out, divorce her without a ketubah, meaning without a divorce settlement. Im yesh edim shehitraba tichila v'avra al ha'atarato. If there were witnesses that said, we saw the husband, he warned his wife, and now we see that she transgressed her husband's warning, ve'im en edim, but if you don't have witnesses, tishbah shehu kidvarecha, she has to swear that it's like her words. Meaning, if the husband had warned her, but we don't have witnesses that say that she went there and she did X, Y, and Z, we're just assuming, then she has to swear to us that she did not do anything wrong. Rabotai, there's much more that goes into this one thing. It's just, I'm not going to go into the depth, but the bottom line, I'm just trying to bring out a point. What is considered to be that halachically the husband is allowed to divorce her. Continues the Shulchan Aruch and it says, V'im rata, give me 1 second please. V'im rata likayem ota, what happens if he wants to keep her? Afterwards, ein kofin oto lotzia. We're not going to force him to divorce her. Mikol makom, nevertheless, mitzvah alav shiyotzeena. There's a mitzvah on him, it's a commandment on him to divorce her. To divorce such a woman that does not go al pi halacha like all the other Jewish women do. Comes the Ramah, and this is what we want to see. Ve'ena yochola lakev al yadav al yado shelo yigershena. The wife is not able to prevent the husband from divorcing her. Ve'yachol ligarsha be'al korcha. He's able to divorce her against her will. This is according to the Ashkenazim. Ve'en b'zeh mishum chen Rabbeinu Gershom. You don't have to read the problem of the chen of Rabbeinu Gershom, and the husband is allowed to go ahead and he's allowed to divorce without any problem. Why did we say this? Because you remember in the Bash, we spoke about in the Bash where he says over here in Od Chav Gimel, Lachen kalal kan elu shnei dinim yachdav. That's why he went ahead and he included over here these two laws, kishenishtatet o kishuhu minadin legarsha, where she lost her mind or halachically is allowed to divorce her. Shemamina shnehim shavim. We learn from over here that they're both equal in the laws of that the cherem of rabbinic gershom is not applicable to them. But now he's telling you this case over here. What is the case that he says that halachically you're allowed to divorce her? How's the case speaking about over there? When halachically a guy is able to go out and divorce his wife, you don't have the cherem of rabbinic gershom on her. That's what we're going to tell you. He's allowed to go out and marry another woman. Rabotai, be'ezrat Hashem b'leneder, we will see that the Pidchei Teshuvah is not going to learn like the Bash. I'll explain to you outside for now. We're learning over here, we have two cases. You have a woman who's Nishtated, who lost her mind, and you have a woman now, the way we're understanding, the way the Bash wants to explain the Ramah. Listen, you have to understand, the Ramah says like this. The Ramah clearly says this language. Halachically, he's able to divorce her, and if she doesn't want to accept the divorce, then you're allowed to go ahead and you're allowed to allow him to marry another woman, even while he has this woman. That is what the Ramah says. But what does that mean, halachically I'm allowed to divorce the wife? What does that mean? The Bash wants to explain that this over here, halachically you're allowed to divorce your wife, is like the halacha in Siman Kuf Tetvav. We'll see Rabotah in the Pidchei Teshuvah b'leneder that he wants to learn completely different Peshat. He's going to tell you, no, do you know what it means halachically you're allowed to divorce your wife? Completely different than the Ramah. Halachically means that if you were with your wife 10 years and you weren't able to have children, that's halachically you're able to divorce your wife, and now she doesn't want to accept the get, then we're going to tell the cherem of rabbinic gershom is not applicable. We're going to see Rabotah, this machlokit, Torah Rabbi side is beautiful, but I do want to share with you this point before we do conclude. Look, Rabotai, how severe it is, the laws of modesty. We must, Rabotai, we as men must educate our wives on what does it mean to be modest. When a woman is modest, all the barachot, Rabotai, come to the house only because of a woman being modest. Rabotai, have a great day. Baruch Adonai Olam. Amen. Amen.